See if we can get ourselves level. Jesus says, don't worry about that. I'm going to turn you right side up. Oh God, are we so blessed? How can we possibly be more blessed? Like, you start joining with the mighties and you're going right to infinite. Like this joy when you follow Jesus, so much joy. Like you just fall in love and love and love and love. At first you want to kill your brother, then you realize he's me. He's me. Let's ask Jesus, and the light of divine being and honesty of God is my brother, myself. We can hear him. Everyone can hear his voice. How much? So it's so hilarious because it gets to be Jesus talking to Jesus about Jesus. Like there's, which is how it should be. We've been so used to water cooler talk. You know, the water cooler talk where everybody meets down the hall to talk about what's wrong with the world. You think you have a problem. I got a bigger problem than you. You know, we compared problems before. My version of hell is much, much worse than your version of hell. That kind of conversation. And he's really bringing us to say that, to see that the voice he speaks within us is our voice. Let's ask him, Jesus, in the light of divine being, is there any other voice than your voice? So as long as we hold Jesus as a concept, there's nothing wrong with the symbol. The symbol in and of itself can be the reminder that we're in heaven or that there's some man that got crucified. It can either look at this and go, oh my God, he's helping me every day of my life. What would I do without Jesus? Or could be, like I said, when I was talking to him, when he's first talking to me, Jesus, this didn't turn out so good for you. So thankfully in the Course, he's pointing us to beyond the idea of what to look at self-crucifixion. So we can look at self-crucifixion. Let's look directly and see. Jesus, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, do I still want to crucify myself? It was beautiful today. All the reflections coming in about self-responsibility, like Rita saying, no, there's only one responsibility for the decision in mind to say no to divine light. So we start with infinite light of being, the power of it. It's so beautiful. It's talking to Dyra and she's saying, yes, we were going through that worksheet and the light just took that stuff. It's like gone in the light. It's like, that's all Jesus is trying to show us, the speed of the correction. So it feels helpful to talk a little bit more about these joining sessions, since we're called to look at joining in a whole new way. He's giving very specific instructions, how he's working with us now. For those beings who really were ready to hear his voice now. Before it was this focus on the Holy Spirit, which is fine if that's the comfort zone, stay with the Holy Spirit. But he knew that with the apostles, they were too attached to the form. And he's trying to move beyond form. Jesus is beyond form. Let's ask, Jesus, are you beyond form? He says, because you're beyond form. We're beyond form. Our voice, the voice for God is beyond form. Ask him. Jesus, is the voice for God beyond form? Our voice, the one voice for truth. Now, it may express in a diversity of expressions. It's still one voice. This is the paradox. So if we have an idea of the man and the idea about ourselves, that piece of personal identity that we want to hold on to, this figure is not going to be the one we want to be talking to. Because of the concept, we want to hold on to a self-concept. Just ask him, Jesus, when I don't want to talk to you, does that mean I'm hanging on to a piece of personal identity? Ask him. He'll tell you directly inside. Yes. And when I don't want to talk to you, am I siding with weakness? Yep. Okay. Now we're honest. See, it's okay to admit it. I really, really, really don't want to talk to you, Jesus. Now, and then look again and see if the light's still there. The infinite light of being, did it run when you said, I don't want to listen to you? It's still here. I love it. So many times beings are talking to Jesus and they look over at him and when they ask him, and he just laughs. Because he's light. He's saying, I'm going to show you how to make this light. So just so we're clear on that, in the light of infinite being, is Jesus here to make it light for us, to light our way and make it light. This is when we get real full honesty. So Jesus, if I'm making it hard or if it seems hard to wake up, does that mean I have a piece of personal identity I'd rather not look at? Like, why is it taking so long for me to wake up? Who's asking that question? Is the light asking the question? How long is it going to take me to wake up? Infinite light. The light's already here. It's the dust bunnies of consciousness that we want to hang on to. Hang on to those. I'm going to hang on to that personal identity, even if it hurts, which it does. So I'm going to talk, it feels helpful to talk about the joining instructions on the joining worksheet, miracle worksheet that he is directing right now. And he's saying, this is the means given right now to be so direct to see, one, you can hear my voice. Everyone can hear my voice. You can hear my voice in your brother. You can practice hearing my voice and speaking my voice as your only function in those sessions. So he's just reminding us that the sessions, when you're joining with a brother, which is really the fire here is to join because it denies the separation. It's when you see the stunning power of this, we come together with a brother to see what's true. We're standing into denying the denial. We're just saying, no, I'm not separate. I'm willing to join with my brother. I'm willing to see that the light's already here. And he's given a very, very specific means for this because of the mind wandering, because of the desire to not focus on his voice. So this is light training to focus on light and then follow those instructions, like every joining. If someone calls and they say, I want to join, just say, okay, pull out the instruction. Here's what we're doing. And it's very specific, the whole thing, everything he's telling, because he's given the keys to the kingdom with this. If you follow the instruction, and many of your brothers will reflect that to you that have been joining and going, because he's going to show you that you're infinite. When you follow him, he's going to show you where all the denials are of just He keeps reminding, surgical precision. And really focus. So these are different, just to be clear. And if anyone's interested in joining and you're not in the, we have a Facebook Messenger group where beings can, push the button and join and ask for a joining buddy, and then you can join. You can just ask us, just text us. We'll put you in the group. Just know that that group is really only for the purpose for this deep contemplation. There's not discussion. There's no other purpose. There's no social sharing. There's only one purpose for the group. And that is to contemplate the infinite nature of being and then be with Jesus to say, okay, Jesus, show me the denials of where I'm denying infinite light. That's the only function really of this group. And to support each other. You can ask questions too, like if you have a question, and then we'll answer them in the light circles. So these sessions are very focused. They're very specific together. You have it's a specific holy assignment. And for those beings that are used to expression sessions, it's not an expression session. Okay, this is admitting the denial of divinity right up front. It's like, if you feel sad, we start with, Jesus, I desire and experience to feel sad. Just start with that. And what do you want me to see? And you pray on it together, and you just deep listening. So it's training the focus, deep listening. And if something wanders off in a story, no, come back to what's the desire. You're always asking him to reveal their desire. What's the desired experience? And then you check in with them. It's very simple. Jesus, do I have a desire for this experience of sadness? And if he says it, you're right. Admit it. Because the play in consciousness is to say no, to deny is to deny the denial. And he's given us a direct and clear path to work directly at him to undo the denials with our brother. To listen deeply. Okay, Jesus, show me. Show me the big N-O. I'm willing. Just show me. Because that's what the ego doesn't want to see. Jesus, do I have a desire below my level of awareness not to feel innocent? And then he'll take you down the elevator. Okay, show me. When you go directly to desire, you will not be afraid. If you're up above that, because the desire is where the split comes. As soon as you're split, you're going to play afraid. So just remember, you stay at the level of desire, like the wanting. Oh, Jesus, I want it. So not at the experience of sadness or unhappiness. You're staying at the level of the itch, like, oh, you're right. So you can really be in the admission. He's so right. You're right, Jesus. Okay. It's even better if you start the whole session. Okay, Jesus, what's most helpful? You know how he says it in the Course, what's most helpful for healing the mind? Like, show me. And he'll come in. It's like, especially when there are two of you together. And I know a number of you have had this experience. Because what happens is then the ego wants, in a story, it's going to try to dance around what the it is that needs a miracle. And so we have to turn the entire atonement. This is turning the entire atonement over back to where it belongs, to him. Jesus, you tell me what I need to see. Not my idea of what I need to see. I'm willing to see what's true. And then he'll bring you right into that desire. Because the ego's likes to weasel all around it and tell a story about and go into all these places. But when Jesus goes in, if we really have that willingness to hear it from him, he then can go right in there and keep going deeper. And you'll see that you'll start going deeper to deeper. with him. And you just keep asking him, Jesus, it'll clear. Like if you have like, okay, Jesus, do I have a desire not to feel innocent? It's like, oh my God. And then you say, okay, show me. And it's like, holy smokes, yes, I do. It'll be like- and he'll say like, hold, am I ready for a miracle? And he's going to tell you no sometimes because he knows, he knows when we are trying to give the miracle the boot. Jesus, do I want miracles? Ask him. Honesty of God, he's going to tell you you don't want miracles. Sometimes you like the miracles that you like to have. You know? Okay, so just ask him in honesty of God, Jesus, am I willing to turn the whole atonement over to you in honesty of God, and see what he says. I don't want him to. Jesus, do I want to be under Christ's control? Just here. Not really. No, not really. Just ask him. So we actually need his help to get to the last unanswered question. Jesus, do I want to see what I have denied because it's true? So this way it's so direct. So yes, get ready. Someone said this is like a rocket ride. They must have been talking to Jesus. But it's light and it's simple. You see how simple this is. It's just admitting the no's. Oh, no, because the ego will go like this. This is the ego. We've heard this one too. Like, I'm not doing. Of course, I want happiness. Like, the challenge is the ego doesn't know what happiness is. Ask Jesus. Jesus, do I really know what happiness is? Okay, thanks. I'll go slower. Yeah. So Jesus, do I know what happiness is? I just hear the answer. Will you show me what happiness is? You get a little love cuddle. Of course he will. That's his function in the atonement. He says, as long as you don't run from me. But if we keep that conceptual idea of what Jesus is, because that means we're keeping a conceptual idea of who we think we are. Jesus, am I not willing to talk to you because I have a conceptual idea of who you are? It's just reflecting the conceptual idea we have of ourselves. So not talking to Jesus, and we can all hear him because everyone who's called here can hear him. For sure, like 100%. I don't have like a single 100% sure. He just says sometimes for some beings it's called selective hearing. You can ask him, Jesus, do I want to have selective hearing when it comes to you? See, that selectivity is the timeline. You can ask him, Jesus, is selectively hearing your voice the timeline? See, the only way he can take us off the timeline is for us to follow him 100%. And you can ask him, Jesus, Can I be supremely happy without following you 100%? Because supreme happiness is the natural expression of divine light. And Jesus's voice is the natural expression of divine light. So if we don't follow the voice, then we're saying no to natural expression of divine light. So ask him. So Jesus, if I don't follow you, am I saying no to the natural expression of divine light within me? So am I really, when I don't follow you, am I really saying no to myself? So he's helping you, all of us, in such a deep, profound, and loving way to practice hearing his voice and following it and speak it, what we're hearing, because we can all hear him in these joining sessions. It's not for somebody else. It's for us. It's for me. If I join, it's for me. And the fastest we get to the recognition and honoring that it's for us, this is given for the celebration of infinite light within, you be jumping on those calls. Because you see the power and the ease with which he's seemingly, it's with your brother taking us like so precisely. Okay, what's under that, Jesus? Show me what's under that. And you can hear the beings talking about it. He took us to infinite. There's nothing under there. Like, that's what I'd love for you all to know. There's nothing under there. And it will take you right out of fear. You'll be so light trained, you won't even go tilt. Because you'll go to the light first, ask him. That is helpful. And you get into the practice. He's helping us get into the practice. Ask him first, what miracles? He says this in A Course in Miracles, but as I've said before, for the eye, the eye thought, I didn't want to look at Jesus. Didn't really listen to how he's in control of the atonement. And I am in control of miracles. And this is turning it all over to him to be in control of the miracle. And you'll see how fast this will go. He's in control of the miracle. It gives it like this. We go with open hands. Okay, show me right now, right here, right now, what miracle. It'll give you confidence that you can hear him. As well as Helen, he's saying as well, and you can hear it. That's why we're recording the sessions. We start recording them so that you can go back and hear how clearly you can hear them. And you can hear it through your brother too. It's just, you just sit there. The beauty and the majesty. And then again, the purposes like of the Joining Light Brigade is to say, here's what Jesus told me. I had this desire, and then he told me, he showed me this. It's not to be comparative. It's not for anyone other than to practice to hear the voice and speak it. Hear the voice and speak it. That's divine. You can ask him, Jesus, is speaking your words divine expression of divinity? We're so used to speaking those other words of untruth, the words of the serpent. He says those reinforce that. Ask him. You can ask him. Everybody here can hear him like a bell. If you're not sure, let's join. I'm like, it's like, there's not a doubt about it, really. And then as we practice the joining, hear, speak, hear it together, and you'll go into synchrony with your brother. It's beautiful hearing them. I heard that too. That's for me. It's like, and then more and more, as you really focus, takes us out of that mind wandering into really looking with him. Because ask him, is mind wandering to avoid seeing the truth? Jesus, is mind wandering to avoid looking? And we'll ask him again, is fear to avoid looking, to see that it's nothing? Are emotions, tons of emotions there is a delay of looking, to see that it's nothing, to accepting the correction quickly. So when these are really on point focus, they don't have to take a long time. But see, the ego likes to take diversions left and right. And so this is really powerful light training to hear and speak the voice. Infinite love speaking through us. It rocks our world, the world of love. So we can just be in love with each other every time we're together so deeply. It sets our dials to infinite. He's saying these circles are revelation readiness. He wouldn't be assigning this unless your rocket was ready to take off. This is direct experience that the Course in Miracles is true. Every sentence. By direct experience. And you'll know if there happens to be a sentence that floats by consciousness, it's not true. You can just ask him because he'll tell you. So we don't have to argue about which version of the Course or whose book's better. You can ask him. And he'll also tell you, okay, do I spend my time on that? Is that worth, do I need any mind time? It's so relaxing. He'll just go, no, don't need in it. No. Can I just rest with you? Ask him. And it was so powerful. You know, when we see in the Course, when he says, you don't ask me enough. You don't ask for enough. Ask him, Jesus, do I ask you for enough? He says, you ask me a lot to try and fix what can't be fixed. Because the prayer we're asking God for is to have things our way. Jesus, am I asking a lot for stuff? Do I have a prayer below my subconscious mind, in my subconscious mind, to keep the world? See, that's the unending prayer of saying no to ourselves. And he's saying, no, I'm going to take you right to heaven. Right, direct, do not pass go. Set the dial to infinite. And I'm going to show you that, demonstrate it through your brother. Just as I promised, every sentence in the Course by direct experience. So he says, lay down metaphysics. Just lay them down, because those can be a defense against speaking to him. Ask him, Jesus, do I sometimes use metaphysics as a defense to speak directly with you? Just see them as metaphysics as defense. Jesus, will you show me when I'm using metaphysics as a defense? I'm willing. He's going, go for God. He's emphasizing you are an infinite being. Jesus, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, am I infinite? He says, I would have you know this. You'll see that it takes these sessions, just there's no effort to them, really. See that the ego, Jesus is the ego's idea of awakening effort. He's talking to me about that, boy. He's telling me all the effort is in staying asleep. You can ask him, Jesus, is all effort in staying sleeping? Does infinite light know what effort is? Ask the light. Does the light know what effort is? He's offering us a direct, effortless, as long as we don't tussle with them. If we get into because part of the ego's plan is to make it seem like talking to Jesus. Well, I won't be me. Exactly. And you'll be happy. So we need to hear him say it's direct. Jesus, if I talk to you, will I be happy? Will I be peaceful? If I talk to you, see, the whole ego's plan is to flip it, to make it seem like talking to the light is effortful and pain. Like, it's like, this is the playing consciousness. Oh my God, I have to talk to Jesus again. That's how it is. This, I could see this play going, boy. You're gonna make me do something I don't want to do. Now let's ask them if there are any beliefs below our level of awareness. Jesus, do I have any beliefs and desires for an experience that when I think about listening to you, I have the experience that you're going to make me do something I don't want to do? As long as that's playing below the subconscious mind, geez, if I don't, I can ask him this. So if I don't let this go, this idea that you're going to make me do something I don't want to do, if I don't let this go, it's going to be a painful wake up. And hear what he says. Yes. Because you're fighting yourself. You're playing the inner fight game to not hear your own voice. So it is going to hurt. It's going to hurt a lot, actually. Just see that that's all a play for the desire for a timeline. Like, and we can ask them, it's good to check in with them. Jesus is not listening to you to desire for the timeline. Is not listening to you the desire to experience death. And just hear it inside directly. And just admit it. Okay, I desire death. Okay. And just see that it's innocence, these desires. That's why he's taking you directly to desire, because it's underneath guilt. See, guilt comes when you split. If you stay at the level of the wanting the experience, no guilt can't arise. All you have to do is look at, oh, okay, Jesus. Oh, I did want that after all. You're so right. It's just a peaceful, easy way. And then you get to be and then we're the happy learner. You get so happy. It's like, okay, show me Jesus. And sometimes they'll say, no, you're done looking. You need to trust them on that too. You even ask them when the session's over. Ask, and he says that so specifically. If you watch the way he communicates with Helen, this is the exactly same thing. It's so beautiful in that text. That was such a gift that he said, go read that. I didn't understand, why is he having me read it? He's having me read it because then I could see the same relationship he had with her, he can have with all of us. Like how he would be direct, how he wanted her to ask him when to start the session. You'll see how specific he was. You ask me when to start the session, when to end the session. So these sessions, you ask Jesus to start it. Am I going to join with you directly, Jesus, or am I joining with a mighty? Which mighty am I joining with? You see how specific do I join with you or a mighty? Because it is helpful. Beings have asked me about journaling. You'll see, even when I was writing, this book came I don't know where that came from. Just start pouring out. But even while doing that, I'm writing him questions. Okay, Jesus, what about, and then he'd reply. And I know so many of you have journals that look like that. He's saying just right now, the most helpful thing is to practice speaking his voice. Because sometimes too, a journal will be a way to avoid joining with your brother. So he's just saying, for right now, it feels most helpful just to join. And you may have some of that on where you talk. It is beautiful when you start seeing how clear he'll come to it. It helps hone that listening. That your brother will take you infinite. And many of the beings who are joining are seeing this. Yeah, he's just saying, stay with the worksheet. Help your brother, because the ego wants to go sideways. That's why I just work the questions like you've never seen the sheet before. And then it becomes very natural. You can work with them directly because your mind will become focused enough. You won't want anything else other than, because you'll see that to have all those denials, it's just like that whack-a-mole game that I talk about, that little game on the computer in the early times when computers first came out and we had nothing to do except play those little executable games. And this little game was, the little mole would stick its head up and you try to hit it with the hammer, and then it'd go underground again and it pop up somewhere else and you try to hit it with the hammer. Well, when we don't clear the desires, that's how they are. They're running below the level of awareness, and then they pop up into objective experience. And you'll be so enthusiastic to ask him, okay, show me everything. Show me desire. Show me the happy learnership. And the ego, we were laughing about the ego because the ego is going to say, okay, Dyra, I'm talking fast, so I'll slow down. Bless our Spanish mighties. We love you guys so much. I can't even hardly speak about that Spanish group. It's just it's like the Facebook group. I look at that and see heaven. You'll get so happy asking him. And then the ego goes, well, do I have to look again? Jesus, do I have a desire below my level of awareness to be frustrated at all this looking? Do I have a desire for an experience? Wondering when awakening's going to be over? It gets really encouraging when you hang out with that light, because you know for sure consciousness will not outlast this light. So let it play as it might. We're going to cease to take the devil's dance card. Don't give the devil your dance card. We just drop the story, emotion arise. Okay, Jesus, what is this? That's how quick. What is my desire? Whatever is arising, Jesus, I have a desire for. And you'll see how quickly that will stop it right in its tracks. Because it takes it back to the play in consciousness, the desire for the experience. And its immediate omission of the denial. Even though we'll go, oh, I don't want to see that. Whatever it is. That he will take you, you won't fear anymore. He'll take you, you can work with them immediately if you want. Take out that sheet, call it, let's just work all the way through fear. Let's ask him, Jesus, can I work with you all the way through any fear can we wipe this off the board? Ask him. And never have fear. Ever. Ask him. Does the light experience any fear? Is the light afraid to look at itself and go, hey, there's light here? And you'll see, and he'll show you, or he's showing me, shows me, the diversity of ways in which fear plays in consciousness. As he said, love or fear. We're so powerful, infinite beings that we have dabbled in a multiplicity of ways for fear to make an appearance. So he even needs to tell us what that is. Ask him, Jesus, do I need your help even knowing when I'm in a state of fear? Do I need your help to tell me when I'm dreaming? But all we have to do is ask Jesus, can I ask for your help to help me, remind me when I'm dreaming? And when we start asking him everything, oh my God, the gates of heaven open. And we see that we were holding our hand on the locks and telling Jesus, God wasn't holding the lock shut. Can there ever be locks on infinite light? In the light of divine being, in honesty of God, can there be locks on infinite light? Does anybody own infinite light? Or is it the only thing that we can share? God would have us know this is all there is. Jesus, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, is the light all there is? And we can ask him, Jesus, in the light of divine being and honesty of God, is anything other than light real? Can the light ever be threatened? The light within me, can it ever be threatened? Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Jesus, does anything in consciousness exist? In our direct experiences, light beings. The light that's here. That's all there is. Infinite, unchanging light. And I love what Muji says. He says, you'll see that you're light. You know that you're light. It's beautiful to watch. He's got that. If you feel guided by the Spirit, I tell you, it's spectacular, the invitation toolkit. You can search for that from Muji. It's spectacular. Really, that invitation to freedom. Search for it on YouTube and just listen to that. That's what lesson 44 is. It's just an invitation to see what's infinite. Because we contemplate death all the time. When have we contemplated infinite light? When have we contemplated, dropped every idea we ever had? It was so profound. It's so true. He said, I've spent all this time exploring what's not true. I've never just sat and noticed infinite light for a few minutes. Dressed as infinite light. Ask Jesus, is that helpful? He says, that's your home. It's the only place you can be at peace or at rest. But you'll see, what's great about that satsang is you'll see the play in consciousness. Muji, I saw that I'm light. Well, what happened to it? We know what happens to it. That's the power of A Course in Miracles. What happens to it when the light's no longer seems to be in awareness, we have a desire for it not to be. We relish the world and experience in the world the death wish over light. So see that the light can't disappear. It's the desire for the death wish that appears. Ask Jesus, Jesus, does the light go away, or is it my desire for the death wish that shows up? But see that even the greatest death wish, the biggest, most whopping death wish that we could ever have, see that, does that survive in infinite, unchanging light? And amen, Jesus, we thank you for showing us that not a single death wish can ever outlast the light of infinite being. Amen. Go for God. Holy brothers, thank you. Join, join, join.